Hey, Coach Wheeler here, and today I want to talk about relationships and, the problems that we can sometimes come across in a relationship. Now, you might be happy, stable, settled down, married, living together. You've been in a long-term relationship. Maybe you live apart, whatever. I don't know what it is. You might have children together, but you've got a good life and a good, solid relationship, and you want it to work. So you're happy, you're both committed, but sometimes you find yourself falling into these traps of when you have arguments or disagreements, or one of you does something the other one doesn't approve of, it descends into chaos. Or you face a moment of adversity that you don't really overcome that well, or you can find it's too big for you to handle, and then you end up both going silent. You have an argument, you say things you regret, and then you kind of feel bad, and you're like, well, how does this happen? Why did that happen? Why did she say that? Why didn't she understand what I was saying? Why didn't I understand what she was saying? And these things. So today's advice is really how you overcome that, how you overcome that and how you combat that. Now, the simple thing to do is sit down with each other in a calm moment and talk about your values, your human needs, and what you expect from that situation. Because quite often when you get into a relationship, or you've been in a relationship, we always think of ourselves. Human beings start off by thinking of ourselves. And even if we think about our partner and their needs, they're going to be thinking about themselves and what they want from the relationship. But both of you also have to realize that there's two of you in the relationship, and there's an us, a we, a together, a Mr. and Mrs., a couple, the Smiths, the Johnsons, whoever you are. And you need to understand that there's two of you in this relationship, and you have to understand in that moment of adversity, or when we face that difficult situation, or when that thing comes up, or when we have a problem with our child or the mortgage, or after a night out or a weekend away, or something that's occurred that maybe causes one of you grief, what are our expectations? What outcome do we want from this? Or when you're facing something, go pre-armed with a plan, a war game strategy, if you like, so you don't descend into those moments of chaos. And if you understand each other's values and your human needs and what your expectations are, even if you don't agree with them, you can say, right, I know what he or she wants from this. I know what I need from it. I know what they need from it. And then you can work on that, and you can say, okay, I didn't really understand you felt that way, because when you say this, I thought you meant that. And it's like, no, what I'm saying is this. And then you kind of explain it, but in a calm moment. And that's a good time to sort of almost have like contract negotiations. Sit down and say, right, well, clause 4, I want this, because when you say that, that's what happens and this happens. Because sometimes people have these pre-assumed positions that you think, well, I always thought that you wanted that. And it's like, no, I never wanted that. Yeah, but that time, I said it that time, but that was in that position, and that was sort of 10 years ago. I'm not like that now. I've changed. And that's the thing. As humans, we grow, we evolve, we go through different life stages, and we need to accommodate that and understand that for each other. Because in couples, with relationships, and I'm talking about long-term relationships, so, if you're committed to each other, there are going to be adversity and moments that you have to get through to overcome those challenges. And life's going to change. Who you were when you were 21, 31, 41, 51, whatever your age you're at, you're going to change. Your needs are going to become differently. Your expectations are going to become different. And so are your partners, but so are you two as a couple. And that's really important to understand. So that's today's advice. Sit down, talk about what you expect, talk about what you need, talk about your values, talk about your principles and morals and your human needs, and how that all kind of interlinks into your relationship. And maybe pick a topic that you've clashed on before and say, okay, in that situation, when we're talking with the mother-in-law, we're dealing with our son, or whoever it is, whatever the situation is, sit down and talk about it, and almost come up with a sort of guidelines, some rules, some things that you understand. And then that way you're pre-armed, and and you think, okay, well, we did talk about that the other day, so when it crops up, it's not a surprise, it's not a conflict, it's not an argument, it's not a battle, because that's the last thing you want in a relationship, is for it to become a war. You want it to be harmonious, lovely and beautiful. So that's what today's advice is all about for couples. And sometimes when you face those conflicts, how to overcome them. Sit down, negotiate, understand each other's values and needs, and try to work through to a happy conclusion for you both. And there's going to be negotiations and different changes, but that's how you make it work. I hope it helps. Like, subscribe, tell all your friends, and I hope you beautiful people have a wonderful day. I love you all. Peace.